Put the game on.
Game's up, phone's up.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm here to talk to you about how to make a smoothie. Now, there are various health benefits to having a smoothie over something like soda. So with sodas, you could damage your teeth, and it has additional calories, and is generally considered unhealthy. It makes you grow fat. With smoothies, you could have lots of benefits with them. One, they're healthy in general because they don't have many chemical components in it, and if you make it out of natural fruits. And two, you can add in protein powders to it, especially after you're working out. Many people prefer to have smoothies over something like soda, especially after a hot day walking through Texas or after working out, because of those benefits. Now, there's a reason why most people don't go around having smoothies, despite them desiring it over something like soda. It's because, one, they think they'll be too hard to make and it'll take too long. And two, they think that it'll be too expensive when they go out to buy it. Now, I'm going to dispute that, because first off, it's actually very simple and very easy to make. It'll take about 7 minutes to make, and it costs about $1 to make it yourself. If you go out to buy it, however, from supposedly a store, you're going to have to take about 10-15 minutes to get to the store. And it'll be a very, very long line for people who wants to buy it. And you're going to have to wait for those 5 to 7 minutes that you could have spent making it yourself, watching other people make it. I'll go through the simple steps with you so you won't get lost with me here. First off, you have to gather your ingredients. Ingredients are the most important part because one, it's going to dictate your taste and what you're going to get. And two, it's also going to dictate how long it might take and what type of shape or texture it will have. So, the first thing every smoothie must have is a blender. A cheap blender is fine, but normally you want to get one that's strong enough to cut through things, to blend things properly. Now, I've been using oat blenders all my life, and I always thought that it could be more efficient. Well, lately I've been taught wrong when they managed to blend through an entire apple. So, it's not really how oat it is, but how well it can cut through things. The second most important part of any smoothie, or you can argue it's the most important part, is the fruits. The main stuff that you have to blend in. Now, you can get fresh fruits, like this banana here, or you get frozen fruits. Now, both are exactly fine. Both frozen or fresh fruits fine. You can get frozen blackberry, you can get fresh bananas, you can get frozen strawberries. They're all fine, but I personally prefer mine to be fresh because I like the taste better. I think it has a more natural taste to it. Now, when you put in your fruits, you're normally going to have an option of having many sort of combinations. So you can put all sort of fruits in to acquire like a taste of mango, banana, strawberry, cherry, whatever you so desire. The freedom's up to you to decide. Once you put that in, you have additional choices of either putting milk, or if you don't have milk, you can put in water. Now, milk is what makes the taste a little bit smoother, and it makes things taste even more fresh. Water, it dilutes the taste a bit, but it's not much of a problem if you add in something like a sweetener. A sweetener will help make the taste, as said, sweet. Now, for people who work out, you'll have the option of using protein powders, which will be helpful for helping you work out in your biceps when you work. Personally, for me, when I decide whichever miscellaneous things I like to put in, I prefer honey, because honey is natural. As you can tell, I like my things natural. After you're done with that, you get your ice and you put it on the very top. You have to make sure it is the very top when you put your ice in. Now, normally I don't get my ice in this sort of shape. I prefer mine small, because with blenders, you got to make sure that your materials are all in chunks. Like the fruits have to be in chunks, so does the ice have to be in chunks, because the blenders can sometimes get caught in those sort of things and not be able to cut through efficiently. You just want to make the work as easy as possible, and it doesn't take much time just to chop up the fruits, because most fruits tend to be in small shapes to begin with. Now, when you put all those things in, you have to make sure that the lid is on top of the blender to make sure that nothing comes out of the blender when you blend things in. Most people who never work a blender make this mistake and they end up making a big mess everywhere. And trust me, it's no fun to clean up a mess, especially when you want to enjoy a drink. So remember, keep the blender lid on, and always keep your hand on top of it to make sure it stays on. The setting that you want to blend is right onto high for the high power, and blend. You don't want to liquefy it, or you definitely don't want to just beat it, because the beating and liquefying is just not going to cut it. You have to blend. When you blend, you have to blend about 5 times for up to 5 to 10 seconds. No longer than 5 to 10 seconds, because you don't want the thing to overheat. Now there might be a time when you catch onto a snag and maybe the blender stops working. Normally that only happens because either the power cord has been taken out. That usually happens when you get something like a dog coming by and they accidentally take it out or whatever. Or maybe when it gets caught to a fruit, when a blender gets jammed with a fruit. Now what you have to do is you have to make sure the machine stops running, because sticking whatever stuff's in is going to be very dangerous for you while the blender is still running. You turn off the blender, and what I recommend is getting a spoon to dig out the materials. A spoon is the best for digging out the materials, because unlike something like a fork, it has a wide shape that ensures that you can easily dig things out. It's shaped like a shovel, right? So it'll be easy for digging materials out. Now, you'll know when your smoothie is ready because it will look solid. You can shake it around to ensure whether it's liquidy or solid. Now, if it's too solid, it shouldn't be much of a problem. You just add in more water or milk or whatever you have already added in it before to make it more liquidish. If it's too liquidish, you add in more ice and you keep blending until it becomes more solid. When it's done and ready, and you know you got a perfect smoothie, you can pour it out for yourself and enjoy a drink. And that is how you make the perfect smoothie for yourself. So whenever you exercise or go on a hot jogger, it's not hard and it doesn't take very long to make. Just get in there and blend.